If you're watching this right now, I need you to imagine something. You're standing in the dead of night, deep in the frozen Ural mountains of Russia. The wind howls like a scream, and the temperature sinks to 40 below. You're not alone, your tent is full of your friends. And then, suddenly, you hear it. The sound of fabric tearing. Your tent is being ripped open, from the inside. What happened next has been debated for more than 60 years. 9 young hikers went into the mountains in 1959. Not a single one came back alive. This is the true account of the Dyatlov Pass Incident. The leader was Igor Dyatlov, just 23 years old, an engineering student. With him were 8 others, all experienced skiers and mountaineers. They were strong, capable, and determined to reach the peak called Otwarden, a name that in the local Mansi language means, "Don't go there." They left on January 25, spirits high, laughing, taking photos. But the mountains had other plans. Blizzards slowed them down, the winds were cutting, and on February 1, they made a fateful choice. Instead of returning to safety, they pitched their tent on the icy slopes of a mountain locals called the Mountain of the Dead. When rescuers finally found the tent weeks later, the site was wrong in every way. The canvas was slashed open from the inside. The hikers had fled in the snow without shoes, without coats, some wearing nothing but socks. Their footprints trailed off into the dark forest. But the snow swallowed the story after just a few hundred feet. And then, one by one, their bodies began to be found. The first 2 were under a pine tree, barefoot, frozen solid, huddled around a small fire. Their hands were shredded, as if they had clawed desperately at the bark in their final moments. Nearby, 3 more were discovered scattered across the slope, crawling, as if they had been trying to drag themselves back to the tent. But the last 4, their discovery is what turned this tragedy into one of the most disturbing mysteries in modern history. They were found months later, buried under snow in a ravine. And their injuries were not human. One had a fractured skull so severe it looked like a car crash. Another's chest was crushed, but with no external bruising, like the damage of an immense pressure from the inside. The strangest of all, one of the women was missing her tongue. Torn out, gone. And here's the detail that still keeps investigators awake at night. Traces of radiation were found on their clothing. So what happened on that mountain? The theories are endless, and none of them sit comfortably. Some say it was an avalanche. But why would trained mountaineers slash open their own tent and run into the cold half-dressed, instead of calmly walking away? Others claim it was military testing. Rockets, mines, secret weapons, something they weren't meant to see. But how does that explain the missing tongue? And then, there are the stranger whispers. UFO sightings that same night. Bright lights reported in the sky. Locals who swore the mountain was cursed long before the hikers arrived. The official case was closed in 1959 with a chillingly vague statement. The hikers died due to a compelling natural force. That's it, no further explanation, just 9 dead bodies, a shredded tent, and questions that no one has ever been able to answer. The site has never been forgotten. Even today, people still climb Dyatlov Pass, leaving flowers at the memorial stone. But many of them report the same thing, a feeling that they are not alone, that the mountain is watching. And sometimes, when the snow is heavy and the wind is right, they say they hear it. The sound of fabric tearing, carried across the slopes. So what do you think? Was it an avalanche? A Soviet cover-up? Something otherworldly? Whatever it was, one thing is certain. The 9 hikers of Dyatlov Pass ran from something in the dead of night, something terrifying enough that they tore their way out of safety and into certain death. And maybe, if you ever find yourself alone in the mountains, when the air grows still and the world goes silent, you'll understand what they heard out there. And you'll pray it doesn't find you too. If you've made it this far, I need you to comment your theory below. Do you think the Dyatlov hikers were killed by nature, by humans, or by something not of this world?